Hello guys, so I joined in early. A bit cold. Can you can you hear me? Just waiting for the time to come up and people to join. Zero people have joined yet, so waiting for people to join. If you join, please leave a comment. A lotta continuare. Hello, I see one person has joined. We're waiting for the time to reach. 5 minutes to go. You can text so I can see who is it. We're waiting for the time. I opened early so that people can get notifications and hopefully join before I actually start the live stream. Oh, 3 people have joined. That's wonderful. You can text. I think, is there a problem with the chat feature? Let's see, messaging, community moderation. Let's put off, chat on. Okay. Let's put settings again. All messages. Yeah. So you can text. Looking forward to seeing your text. It's 4 minutes to go. Let me just read the summary of what we're going to be discussing today. So for politics, we're going to be discussing the release of some of the Epstein files, and we're going also to be discussing the Venezuelan immigration scandal that happened this week. And for economics, we're going to be discussing the France government collapse, and we're going to be discussing the Mercosur deal. So Mercosur is like the EU of South America, and it's having a big trade deal with the EU. So we'll discuss that. And for economics, Yo, there is no way. Let me see. There's no way to chat. Okay, let me. So somebody texted me and told me there is no way to chat. Let me see what I can do. I don't know why. Chat filter. None. Chat's hidden. Oh. Top messages. Commenting moderation. Come on. Okay. I think now you can chat. I think I corrected it. Yeah. Can you try and text? That's why it's very, very important to start the live stream before the time so that we can at least fix up anything that's going wrong. So I'm expecting to see some messages, hopefully. If you still can't, you can text me and I'll see what I can do. Top messages, chat filter, top messages, none. Okay, so I'm expecting to see some messages. Let's go on for economics. I think it's 1 minute to go. So let me just go really fast. So for technology, we're going to be discussing there's been fines for big tech in Europe and the IFA 2025, which is a technology event. And for the environment, we're going to be discussing about the Afghanistan earthquake, and we're going to be discussing, for sports, we're going to be discussing about the World Cup, which will happen next year, and Man United. So I think I can't see messages still, so I think there's a problem. Can't you send the messages, or is it just me? I posted a few messages. Interesting. The fact that I can't see them. Okay, let's see what I can do. Chat filter, show most messages with potential. Show all messages. Yeah, now I can see them. We're about to start, so let me read them. Okay, test. Okay, now it works. No, everything is now right and works. Wonderful. Okay, so I think we can begin with the first news, which is the first. Everybody, welcome to the live stream, and I hope we have a good live stream today. So the first news is the Epstein files. The summary is the U.S. House Oversight Committee recently released over 33,000 pages of records related to Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking investigations. However, a significant portion of the documents, which included court filings, body camera footage, and police interviews, were already of public knowledge, and the files do not contain new information proving criminal conduct by high-profile individuals previously associated with Epstein, such as Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, or Donald Trump. And the release has reignited political debate and increased pressure on the government for greater transparency, with some lawmakers calling for full release of all the remaining files. Oh, Father Forster, hello. So, trust me, guys, I think they'll never release those documents that can hurt the high-profile individuals, since the high-profile individuals are the people who have all the control. So, like, Trump is the president of the United States, which is the most powerful position you can have in the whole world. He's the commander-in-chief of the greatest military the world has ever seen. So he'll never allow those files to be released and ruin his reputation. So I think the only way it might happen is when actually there's a revolution or something like that, and the files will be released. But even if they are released, I don't think they change anything, since we who want to believe them, or we who really know, we already know the pedophiles. We already know what they were doing in those islands. We already know they were friends. There are pictures there, so we already know. And whether the files are released or not, we already know that the elite are doing stuff that are very, very illegal in islands and in their homes. That's a fact, 100%. And read again. Sarida said hi. Okay, yeah, with that kind of yeah. And another point is the victims. There are so many people who have been affected by these high profile individuals, and I don't think they'll ever, since the high profile individuals, I don't think they'll ever face justice. And so for the victims, it's really, really sad. But I still think we can help them with the justice part by actually creating a better world that will ensure that in the future nothing like that will ever happen. So by us trying to create a better world, we're trying to make justice for them. So it's like how in the past there are so many people who did bad things but didn't receive justice, but today we've built a world where they can't spring up again, people like that, and do such things. So I think that's how we can help the victims get justice in the future, since I don't see the high profile individuals ever getting caught or put in jail. They're getting older every day. Maybe if there's an afterlife. Yeah. And I think that's why most of these high profile individuals are evil and wicked, because when you hear the stuff that they're said to have done in the islands, it's sick. It's stuff that if I had to pass through, even if it's just seeing other people do it or do it myself, I would have post-traumatic stress disorder. So most of them, I'm sure they have stuff like that. You can't just tell me you abuse kids and tell me you're normal. You're not normal anymore. You're not normal. And so these people actually suffer from mental problems, and it's not just they are hurting people, but they are also being hurt and they don't know that they're being hurt. So it's just it's sad all over the place. It's just sad all over the place. Yeah. So that was the first news about the Epstein files. They released them, but they didn't release any new information, and I don't think they'll ever get caught. So let me read the messages a bit. His reputation is already in shambles. Yeah, the files seem to be a topic that both sides want interesting. Democrats want to release them because they won't lose anything. There are Democrats who will be found in those files, and it's not just about the US. Remember, the high profile individuals are from all over the world, rich people from all over the world. So Prince Andrew is from the UK, and there are so many others who are from all over the world. So it's going to be hurting so many people, and all those people won't want the Democrats to actually release them. And another message is the victims have said they're going to make their own list. Yeah, that's wonderful, but the media will shut them down and it won't be pushed. It's like PDD. Most people who talked bad about PDD, they usually just downplayed the things that they were saying, and they told them that the media just shut it down. And when we saw it, like Orlando Brown, we just laughed and saw like he's a lunatic. But actually what I was saying is the truth. So even with them, the media is going to shut them down. They're going to be paid NDAs, etc., etc. But yeah, and there was meeting of victim of the files and government was invaded. Nobody con to them. Yeah, so that was the first news. Let us now move on to the second news. So the second news is about the Venezuela deportations. So the summary is the Trump administration's use of a rarely. So Trump administration used a wartime law called Alien Enemies Act in March 2025, and it deported 238 Venezuelans. And the reason they gave was that they're members of the Aragua gang. So they were sent to high security prisons in El Salvador. But a recent appeals court ruling has since blocked the Trump administration from further use of the act. And this happened on September 3rd. So they cannot use that act anymore to deport the immigrants. And they also they did a swap and returned 250 deported Venezuelans to their home country in exchange for 10 Americans. So this news, I added it because it's very, very sad. You know, Venezuela is the richest country in terms of oil, and yet it's poor it's poor to the state where its citizens are migrating from it. And you might say it's because they're socialists, etc. But the fact is, the US and Western countries are putting sanctions on it and basically destroying it. And this is causing the country to be a mess, and people are running away from it. So they're causing the problem and then wonder why people are coming to their country. So I think the best way is to build Venezuela. The best way is to build the Arab countries. The best way, even if it's not building, is to not destroy the other countries. Because a country like ours, Tanzania, we have very few people who usually migrate to other countries. Why? Because there is peace in our country, and even if we're not rich, you can at least survive and you can at least live peacefully. But in countries like Somalia, Somalis are even migrating to Tanzania. Why? Because it's not peaceful in their country. So I think the best way to curb immigration is to ensure that the quality of life in these other countries is much, much better. And if you cannot do that, then at least not to interfere in the politics for your own benefits. So I think that's like that's a side effect. It's like taking drugs and then you're becoming addicted. So if you destroy other countries, people will soon migrate to your country, and that's been seen all over history. Rome, Mongolia, whatever. People migrate to the best part where they know they might get the best opportunity. And another point I wanted to make is some in the administration have sense and power. So the judge who ruled that he cannot use the Alien Enemy Act is really brave, and he's standing to power. And that just goes to show that there are so many people in the administration who hate what Trump's doing and who are trying to fight the system from within. And although they're not succeeding that much, it's still honorable, and we should still praise it. We should really still praise it. And I'm just happy that I was born in this age where there is this human identity, and I can feel empathy for and sympathy for people from all over the world, which is something even my some of my countrymen don't have, that human identity. So let's continue building that. Let me read the messages a bit. I beg, bro. Do you play blocks fruits? Shivank, be patient. He will lock a chat soon. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. What happened? Don't ignore me. Okay, guys. I think that is solved. let's continue with the economics. Let's continue with the economics news. So the first economic news is that, and I don't think that our streamer player their Roblox free. Okay, so the first economic news is that France government is near collapse. So let me read the summary first. France's government is on the brink of collapse amid a staggering debt crisis. So the national debt is 3.35 trillion, and it's almost 114% of the GDP. So there's a big budget deficit, meaning that the country the money uses is bigger than the country the money has. And the deficit is 5.8%. And the EU limit is 3%. So it's nearly double. And Prime Minister Franco Bayrou was facing a vote of no confidence on is facing a vote of no confidence on September 8th, and he's proposed 44 billion budget cut. So he wants to cut the budget so that it can go down to the money they have. Have been rejected by the opposition parties. So we can see a party politics right here, and poll suggests that 69% of the public want elections if the government falls, a situation that will create further political and economic turmoil. So we can see that the system is collapsing. We're changing prime ministers every day. And UK, we have seen they're changing prime ministers. The US is a mess. So their system is collapsing, but they're trying to patch it up every day. And honestly, I believe that this patchwork can't continue forever. Something will have to give, but we'll have to give when we have to prepare a new system, so that when something gives, we can actually initiate a new system. That's why I'm really working hard to create that new system, because look, we have seen these revolutions happen. Recent one that comes to mind is the Sudan one. The people went out and they demanded a revolution, and what happened afterwards was that the military took over and said that they're going to rule for 8 months, I think, or 1 year, and then they're going to be elections. And those 8 months and 1 year are just to ensure that the country is stable. And what happened? They never got back, gave back the power, and now we have civil war. And we see with the European countries whereby the ministers are changed, but the things go on. I think the UK is on its fifth prime minister in how many years? So things are certainly not good, but we don't have that system that we can replace it, that can really do major changes. And this will go on. They'll continue changing the leaders, trying to make the system work, but the system won't work. So what we should do is just continue creating that new system, because now the opportunities are there, man. The opportunities are there to actually push for a new system. But what we need is the new system to be here. And by system, I mean it needs both physical and mental and cultural infrastructure. So cultural infrastructure means that it should be in the mainstream mind. Physical infrastructure means that the physical infrastructure needed should be in the country, and the mental infrastructure is that the theory should be strong. So something like the systems I have, they have mental infrastructure, but they don't have physical infrastructure, and they're still not in the mainstream, so they don't have cultural infrastructure. So what we should do is just focus on building that new system, so that one day when the people think they have to change leadership or they have to change the system, they use our system. So that was the first economic news. Let me read the messages a bit. And I don't think that our streamer, oh shit, that is bad to hear about France. Yeah, the finance said hi, hello. Yeah, okay. So let us continue with the second news. My only hope that France new prime minister won't be stupid. Let's hope. I hope so too. I hope so too. So the second economic news is about the Mercosur deal. Let me read the summary. The European Commission has initiated the ratification process for a landmark trade deal with the Mercosur bloc, which includes Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay, which was politically agreed upon. It was agreed upon on December 2024, but it wasn't ratified. And it will include 700 million consumers or people. So it's one of the biggest. It will form one of the biggest free trade areas, and it's also said to produce lots of jobs, 440,000 jobs approximately. And it also faces concern from particularly France and farmers groups, since South America produces a lot of produce and it might affect the farmers' gains. And so the deal is now set to be ratified before the year ends, and we all know why this deal is now being pushed super fast. It's because of Trump and his tariffs. And so we see in reality that what Trump is doing is just pushing people away from the US and to other places. And I didn't think that I could ever see the European Union and the US not being in line. It's hard, but here we are. So the tariffs are really hurting, and I just hope that the US can choose a better president next time who will be more responsible than what we have right now. And I also think that we should be over this. Trade will help the lives of people. The fact is, we already produce enough for everyone. Hence, what we need is a system for basic income or a knowledge economy so that people can easily obtain their basic needs. Other than that, we're just doing circles, because picking up oranges, yeah, it's a job, but we can do better. We can certainly do better. We can work on such something like the knowledge economy, where people are paid to learn and pass tests. So in that situation, the collective knowledge of the society is always increasing as the economy is increasing. And yeah, so I think we should move past that and move towards a post-scarcity society. Yeah, the wage labor thing is really out of date, since automation is increasing by the day with AI, etc. We have to move to a post-scarcity society. There's really no way around it. And so that was the second economic news. Big deal between Europe and South America because of the tariffs of Trump, and so the EU is trying to get other places it can trade with. So let me read the messages again a bit. The tariffs are being challenged in the US. The courts are saying he can't do them. It's going to be Supreme Court eventually. Yeah, they're being challenged. Yeah, that's good to hear. But with international politics, it's not even actually doing. It's just even saying. So the fact that you're threatening is enough to make people change their cause or change their behavior. So until I think Trump is gone, people will be afraid that, you remember, even when he just won the presidency, people started changing their behaviors. Communities were afraid. Even before he started with the taking away migrants, they already knew the fear was already there just because of the things he was saying before. So even right now, because he's saying that, it's already really affecting the world. It's really, really affecting the world. So after that, we're going to move to the technology news, and let me read the last message. And Trump stated 50% tariffs so in on India after the president or prime minister says something wrong about Trump. Yeah, I actually heard that, and uh, the tariffs he put didn't affect Apple since they're also making the new iPhones, which will come out next week, I think, in India. So let us go on with the technology news. So the first technology news is that there's been fines for big tech. And let me read the summary. The European Union has imposed significant fines on major tech companies for antitrust violations, with penalties totaling 700 million euros or 800 million dollars. So Apple was fined 500 million for restricting app developers from informing users about alternative purchasing options. Meta received a 200 million fine for its pay or consent model, etc. And meanwhile, in the US, a federal judge ruled that Google maintained an illegal search monopoly but refused to force the company to sell. Okay, so the EU is doing a good job at finding these big tech companies and showing them that they don't hold all the power, and actually just helping the people. And one thing that comes to mind was the USB-C, forcing Apple to use the USB-C so that it can charge in all the devices. So it's really good. You know, whenever someone does something good, even if it's tokenism, even if it's small, you should recognize it, so that even when they do something bad, when you tell them, they know that this person, when they do something good, when I do something good, they recognize it. That's why when I do something bad, they recognize it too. So it's good what the EU is doing by showing that big tech that they can be controlled and they're not just all powerful. Now, after saying that, I have to say that the fines, although they look big to us, they're not that big to them because of the profits they gain from actually breaking the law. So it's like a fast car, a person driving a Lamborghini getting a ticket. So although it's good, but the price of the ticket is small to them, so it doesn't really affect them. But in terms of symbolism, it's really good what he is doing, since it's showing big tech that it can reel them in. Yeah. And in terms of the USB-C, I think they threatened Apple to not allow them to sell in the EU, which is one of its biggest markets. So yeah, what they're doing is really, really good. In terms of these big tech companies, I think what we should have is just collective ownership. One way or another, we should have collective ownership of these companies, since they're basically monopolies and they're basically in it for themselves, while we, the people, are the ones who are using them. So I think we should have a collective ownership. And I believe with the Mseli app, once it's up and running and the online direct democracy gets to the mainstream, things like this will just enter naturally into the mainstream and people discuss how to do it and work together. Let's hope for that day to come before we go out of the earth. So that was the first news. There have been fines for big tech. Let me read the messages a bit. So bye. Well, your EU laws are at work in Europe. Yeah, but since it's big market, whatever the EU says is what the big tech companies will do, and for the rest of us, they just give us the same product that they give to the EU. So we're kind of like connected. They can't make iPhones with USB-C for EU and then make iPhones with their own ports for Africa or Tanzania. It doesn't work that way. So let me read a bit of the messages. Rich people can afford to commit crimes that have financial fines, so they don't. So they do them. Yeah, that's so true. Like, it's just to punish the. Honestly, I think it's just to punish the middle class, since even the lower class, they can't afford it, and you can't do anything since they don't even have the assets you can take. Yeah. So I think it's just for the middle class. And rich people can influence politicians with money or ads or both. Yeah, that's so true. So let us go on to the let us go on to the second let us go on to the second technology news. So let me first read the summary. This year's IFA Electronics Show in Berlin, that one of first the 101st edition, will be focused on the integration of AI into everyday home appliances. So South Korean giants Samsung and LG showcased their AI home platforms, demonstrating how smart devices can autonomously manage tasks. So TVs, fridges, lights, etc. So Samsung revealed new audio products, including the Sound Tower, and they're priced at $699, $499. The event also featured new laptops, gaming PCs, and other gadgets. The overall theme highlighted a shift from gadgets to more intuitive, interconnected smart home ecosystems. So first, I'd like to celebrate the effort, although this is not talked about a lot, but people work day and night to produce these products. Engineers work day and night to produce these products, and so we should always celebrate their effort. And now, after celebrating their effort, I want to say that these home automation systems are stuck. They're basically stuck since they're either too expensive for the normal person or not as useful. So, for example, a cooking machine. You can create a cooking machine that is $4,000 and few people will be able to buy it. You can create a cooking machine that is $200, but people have to actually prepare the ingredients themselves. So it's really stuck there, and that's why I designed Mama Apartments, which I think most of you here have heard or seen or or read an article about it. So basically, Mama Apartments are apartments whose which are connected to a food and clothes hub, such that residents can order for food and clothes from the hubs and return dirty dishes and laundry to the hubs for cleaning and storing. So even if the automations are created, they'll be put in the hubs instead of the houses. And so even if they're expensive, it doesn't matter since the hubs operate for a lot of people, so the price is distributed across the people. And even if they are big, it doesn't matter since the hubs can be as big as the machines need, since they're not inside the house. So yeah, I think the efforts that these people are putting right now is really good, and once the Mama Apartments hit mainstream, their efforts will help in actually automating the hubs. So what they're doing is good and will help in our future efforts to create automated homes, and for that we should commend them. So that was the second technology news. Let me read the comments a bit. I am back, so bye bye. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so after the technology news, let us go to the environmental news. So 4 people here and they're liking. Wow. So let us go to the environmental news. So the first environmental news is the Afghanistan earthquake, and here's the summary. On August 31st, 2025, a devastating 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan, with its epicenter just northeast of Jalalabad. So the quake was shallow at a depth of 5 miles, and it has killed at least 1,400 people. That's people with lives, that's people with friends, that's people with family, that's people with relatives. 1,400 people, and it has injured 3,000. So that's really, 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 really big. Imagine the number of burials that will have to be done, and imagine the number of people who will miss the burials because they're injured. And imagine the people who won't even be able to do funerals for their loved ones because they've been buried by the rubble. So it's really, really sad. And it has also destroyed 5,400 homes. And if you know anything about homes, you know that it's one of the biggest asset humans usually have. So it's really, really bad, and I just hope they can recover from this. And it's done this by flattening entire villages, particularly in the Kumar province. So rescue and aid efforts are being severely hampered by blocked roads, landslides, and poor communication signals, forcing aid workers to travel on foot for miles to reach survivors. So basically, the infrastructure is not good to help the aid workers provide what they need to provide. And so, just to give you a small geography lesson, Afghanistan has three tectonic plates banging in the country. So there's the Eurasian plate, there is the Indian plate, and there is the Arabian plate. And so because of this, it usually experiences a lot of earthquakes. Not saying it's normal, but based on its geography, it's something that is expected to happen once in a while. And I really, really wish all the people well, and I just hope that enough aid and support is given. And even though they're led by the Taliban, I just hope the government can actually help them. And something like this, when I hear something like this, it touches me. Honestly, it touches me. And me giving $0.5 or even $1 to help support them is something that if I did, I'll do with all my heart. But how? Where? When? It's hard. The system is just not there. So with Mseli app, you can just go to the Afghani page and actually remember it for like maybe a week or two, and even donate. And once you donate the money, then it can be used for aid. And how we'll know that it's being used for that is everything will be shown in the page. And if they say they've bought something, we'll have accountability officers. It can even be maybe 30 or 50 people who live in that location who say they have seen what they've bought, and that goes to show that our money is our donations are being used truly. So in the Afghani page, if it happened in the Kumar province, people in the Kumar province can act as accountability officers and ensure everything that is said in the page, that the money we donated is used for, is actually that. And if the accountability officers don't say that, then we know that our money is not being used and it's freezed. So let's say the money is being used to buy sanitary pads for women, and so 50-60 accountability officers can actually see the sanitary pads that have been brought in that province and actually give the consent that the money was really used to both the sanitary pads and the women really received them. So that's the system that I hope will be created in Mseli app. And with that, a tragedy like this can receive millions in donations, because everybody knows that the money is truly being used for good. But without the accountability, without that system, everybody is afraid, because we're not sure if they're going to use the money for helping the people who are affected, or they just spend it on themselves. And so that was the first environmental news. Let me read the messages a bit. Okay, so it can work. But problem with the AI thing is that blind people can be hurt in the progress. So there are no new messages. Let me go on. So the second news is Mr. Beast Team Water campaign. So let me first give a summary. There's a message here before I start. But without overseeing of money to send it to help will be sent it to war. Yeah, that's why accountability officers are very, very important, because you never know the Taliban. They might use it to buy armor or guns. So let's go to the second news, which is about Mr. Beast and Team Water campaign. So the summary is, this week Mr. Beast Team Water campaign. Mr. Beast is a YouTuber. has reached biggest YouTuber has reached a significant milestone. It was launched on August 1st and with a fellow YouTuber Macroba, and the initiative successfully met its ambitious goal, which was raising $40 million in just 1 month. And the feat was celebrated on September 1st, 2025. And the funds are designated to provide clean water to 2 million people for decades. While the campaign has been widely praised, it has also been targeted by scammers, which is what I was saying. In a post on X on August 29, 2025, Mr. Beast publicly offered a 100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of those involved in a 1.25 million fraud scheme. So first, to talk about the wells, I have to say they usually help, and I've seen wells all over Tanzania. Some of them were sponsored by the people of the USA. Some of them are written that they're sponsored by Japan. Some of them in villages with a big Muslim population were sponsored by the Arabs. Some of them in villages with churches that have significant populations were sponsored by churches from outside the country. So yeah, so there are many wells built by different sponsors all over the country, and I think that's Mr. Beast's wells will truly help. And the good thing is, once it's built, it can be used for years and years and years. And that's why they're saying that the wells are going to be used for decades. So since basically we even have today, we have wells that are 100 years old, right, that are being used. So yeah, so once it's built, as long as it's in the well is getting the water from underground river, then it's good to go. So yeah, and it usually uses a mechanical system to bring the water up. And so since it's mechanical, don't need electricity, and once the things once it breaks down a bit, the villagers can just do a quick funding and repair it. So it really works, and the wells really help. Yeah, so I think what they are doing is really good, and we should commend them, and we should appreciate what they are doing. It's really good. And this also goes to show that people truly want to help. People really want to help, because I, who have been following it, don't even know who are the people who gave the 40 million. So the people who donated didn't just donate because they're going to receive praise. No, they donated because there was a story behind it, and yeah, it was marketed, etc. So people do want to help, but the system is just not there. And I think that's what I'm trying to achieve with them selling up, to allow social causes to actually make money, like influencers. Because Mr. Beast is just one influencer, and for every Mr. Beast there are 10,000 other influencers who just spend their money on stuff, spend their money and fame on things that don't really matter. And so with them selling up, social causes can easily earn money and use it collectively through the online direct democracy, and do things like this on a daily basis. Stuff like this, raising 40 million for wells, will be a daily occurrence with them selling up, because social causes will have money, and once they have money, they'll use the online direct democracy to actually do some things that help the community. And once people just see that this thing works, people will be ready to donate. Everybody will be ready to donate, because we all have stuff that are really paying us, really hurts us. Everybody who's affected by cancer will be donate to the cancer institution, and the money will be used to help cancer victims, etc. So all we need is a good system that will allow people to have that good conscience that the money they're donating to is going to the cause and will help the cause. That's it, and that's what I'm trying to do. Themselves help. Hopefully we'll be able to create the first vision before the year ends. So that was the second tech environmental news. So before we go to the sports entertainment, let me read a bit of the comments. So plug, what's your job? But without Okay, just now we need to make sure that Team Water money will go to their goal. Yeah, at least with Mr. Beast, people are certain, and there are lots of people who are following this and ensuring that it's really going to do what they're doing. The 200-year-old wells are signs that there were big water reservoirs there. Yeah, certainly. And as you know, human population usually lives a place where there is water. So as long as you see villages in a place, most of the time there is a source of water near. Even if they, yeah. So let's go to sports and entertainment news. And the first one is about FIFA announcement of dynamic tickets for the World Cup. So FIFA announced details of the 2026 World Cup ticketing program, including the new dynamic pricing system. And the World Cup will be done in the USA next year. And dynamic system, as you know, it means that the tickets can fluctuate and change prices depending on different variables such as demand, time, location, etc., etc. So yeah, and the lowest tickets will be starting from $70, and the highest, like for the final, will be $6,000. So the World Cup is the biggest sports competition, and it will be happening next year in the US. Now, the funny part is Iran has qualified. So, Iran national team will be in the US next year to play the World Cup. And Israel is also working on qualifying. So, if it qualifies, Iran, Israel, and the USA team will be in the USA vying for the World Cup, which is really, really interesting since they nearly fought a war, or I can say they fought a few days war this year. Yeah, so that was the first news, and people are willing to spend $6,000 to watch the final of the World Cup, and so we can see the value that is placed on it. And so we, as people who are working on social causes, again should also look to build value to our social causes, so people are willing to donate more, and we also have to ensure that the money will be used for things that are for the social causes and not just to help us. And that was the first sports news, and now we can actually go to our last news, which will be the second sports news. And before I do that, let me read one message. The AI will increase the price. Yeah, it will increase the prices as the time goes, and once as the teams qualify and they know which stadiums they are going to play in, so it will increase. It's really weird, the system, and the tickets are not sold all the time, so there are actually like windows where you can buy the tickets. Yeah, there's even an ad that came to Tanzania saying that if you want to be a volunteer in the World Cup next year, you can apply, and people are trying to apply, hoping that they might go to the US. And so let us no, I meant more like AI will increase from the start. Yeah, it might be so, since the number they said were approximate, so we're not sure yet. So the second, let us go to the second news, which is about Manchester United, which is a club I support. So it's from England. It's the big, I can say it's one of the biggest soccer clubs in the world. And the funny part is that Manchester United has spent exceeding $2 billion in the past 10 years, which is 200 million a year. And that's just on players to try and make a good team. 200 million a year to try and make a good team. That's more than what countries spend on their infrastructure on one team of 20 players to try and make it good. But they have been a massive failure and have finished 15th in the last season. So I said that just to show that even when you have good intentions, even when you have money, when you want to achieve your goal, sometimes it takes time, and it takes trial and error process. And that also goes to when you want to change the world and make it a better place. So when we are trying to make the world a better place, and when we're trying to create these new systems, we should be more forgiving of each other, we should be more loving of each other, since it's hard, it's not easy, it's hard, it's not easy. And I'm sure even you have seen examples in stuff you do, or in your country or stuff like that, that just because you have the money or the resources doesn't mean you'll succeed. So we should just be loving and look at the positive side, look at the effort, don't look at the mistakes only, look at the effort too. Tough love is good, but we should see the love too, not only the tough. And so we should support each other, we should love each other, we should look up for each other whenever we can, because we only have each other. And for us who want to change the world and make it a better place, for us Simps of Human Progress, we should continue sticking together and being there for each other. And with that message, I think it's the end of our live stream. Let me read the messages a bit. So 2.5 million for make good team. 2.5 billion. It's billion to make a good team, and they still couldn't do it. So yeah, that was the last news. It's 56 minutes, yeah, probably an hour. I hope you enjoyed the live stream, and I have enjoyed it, and I'm happy you guys were here and sent messages, etc. So thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Bye. um, I'll miss you guys until Friday. Take care. Bye bye.